In the quiet embrace of dawn, the villa of Lucius Metellus stirred gently to life. Sunlight filtered through ornate window panes, casting soft glimmers on the marble floors. Outside, the city of Rome began to awaken. The melodious chirping of birds mingled with distant calls from merchants eager to set up their stalls in the vibrant forum. Lucius stirred beneath his woven blanket, his mind already flickering to the challenges of the day ahead. He dismissed the remnants of sleep with a sigh, knowing that as a new senator, he bore the weight of immense responsibility. Rising, he moved to the window, inhaling the fresh morning air infused with hints of rosemary and honey, symbols of the life he had chosen. Today, he would step into the world of politics, where ambition and duty danced unsteadily together. With a quickened heartbeat, he prepared his mind for the complexities that awaited him in the Senate, ready to meet the day head-on. As the first light of dawn spilled into the villa, Lucius Metellus stirred from a restless sleep. He rose from his simple but comfortable bed, the cool marble floor awakening his senses. His morning ritual began with the careful grooming rituals revered among Roman society. A servant entered, carrying a silver basin filled with water, its surface shimmering like the Tiber at dawn, while fragrant oils arranged neatly on a small table awaited his touch. After washing, Lucius reached for a loaf of fresh bread, tearing it with practiced ease. He doused it in sweet wine, savoring the tartness as it accompanied the warmth of his meal. The ritual grounded him, a stark reminder of the social expectations he must uphold. As he savored these small comforts, whispers of ambition filled his mind, propelling him toward the challenges that lay beyond the villa's doors and the city that awaited his presence. As Lucius stepped onto the cobblestone streets, the vibrant pulse of the forum greeted him like an old friend. Vendors shouted about their wares, the rich aromas of spices and baked bread mingling in the air. Philosophers animatedly debated ethics under the shade of a bustling marketplace, while children played nearby, their laughter weaving into the sounds of commerce. Lucius felt a mixture of pride and trepidation as he navigated through the throng, acutely aware of his position among these everyday lives. Each face told a story, artisans crafting their trade, citizens discussing the latest news, and the ever-present shadows of politics looming overhead. The weight of his responsibilities pressed upon him, yet he found solace in the vibrant chaos around him. This dynamic microcosm of Roman life filled him with purpose as he journeyed toward the Senate, resolute in his determination to serve both the Republic and its people. Lucius stepped through the impressive doors of the Senate building, his heart racing as he entered the hallowed halls of power. The architecture loomed above him, grand marble columns stretching toward the sky, while statues of revered ancestors gazed down with austere eyes. The atmosphere buzzed with a mix of anticipation and unease, senators milling about, engaging in fervent whispers. Lucius felt a jolt of excitement. Today marked a pivotal moment not just for him but for all of Rome. As he navigated the room, he exchanged nods with veteran senators, some welcoming, others calculating. He sensed their scrutiny, weighing his potential as both a newcomer and a threat. Taking his seat, he gazed upon the assembly, the weight of their expectations pressing down on him like an unseen force. The session began, and he felt a surge of determination wash over him. He was ready to navigate this treacherous political landscape and shape the future of his beloved city. Inside the grand chamber of the Senate, the atmosphere bristled with tension. Lucius took his seat among the esteemed assembly, observing the illustrious marble columns that loomed overhead, a testament to Roman power and ambition. Conversations swirled around him, punctuated by fervent gestures and impassioned voices. Today's topic, proposed reforms to the grain tax, ignited spirited debate. As senators rose one by one, their words resonated with urgency, reflecting the struggles of the plebeians, who faced hunger under the weight of heavy taxation. Lucius, listening intently, felt the weight of this issue. Proponents argued for change, while opponents insisted on maintaining the status quo. The room buzzed with palpable energy as alliances formed and rivalries deepened. Transported by the fervor, Lucius recognized that his own beliefs would soon be tested. He could either remain silent amid the chaos or step forward as a voice for the people, a daunting choice for a newcomer in this complex game of power. As the Senate session droned on, A sudden hush fell over the chamber when Senator Cassius, known for his bold ideas, rose to present an audacious proposal. His voice rang with conviction. "Let us reconsider the granary's control and redistribute the wealth among the plebeians." Murmurs of disbelief coursed through the gathered senators, each weighing the significance of such a move. Lucius Metellus leaned forward, intrigued yet apprehensive. This plan, if executed, could shift the delicate balance of power, unsettling both the elite and the commoners alike. Cassius continued, laying out a vision of a more equitable Rome, one that would elevate the marginalized while threatening the status quo. Lucius's heart raced as he contemplated the societal ramifications. Investors would be furious, yet the plebeians might rally behind it. Torn between tradition and progress, he wondered, was it time to stand with ambitious reformers or safeguard the established order? The weight of decision loomed ever larger. Seeking a moment's reprieve from the Senate's heat, Lucius Metellus stepped into the welcoming embrace of a nearby taberna. The air was thick with the aromatic scent of spices and freshly baked bread, mingling with the lively chatter of patrons. Finding a corner table, he summoned a cup of wine and a plate of olives, listening intently to the conversations that danced around him. Here, senators and commoners alike shared their dreams and grievances, the lines between social status blurring under the shared canopy of ambition. He caught snippets of rivalry and camaraderie among fellow senators, each aiming to carve out their legacy in the annals of Rome. Amid laughter and animated debate, Lucius felt a comforting kinship. As his mind wandered between the ambitions of his colleagues and his own aspirations, he knew the challenges ahead would require not just strategy but collaboration, an understanding that, even in the cutthroat world of politics, unity could forge a stronger Rome. As Lucius returned to his villa after the morning's deliberations in the Senate, he noticed the familiar sight of his estate nestled among the olive groves. The tranquility of the gardens was a welcome contrast to the chaos of Roman politics swirling in his mind. Sitting at his writing desk, he unsealed a roll of parchment, the wax still warm from the messenger's hand. As he read the letters from his family, emotions flooded his heart. His mother spoke of the struggles faced by their tenants, the shivers of fear rippling through the reports of unrest nearby, and his father's stoic words urged Lucius to uphold their family honor amidst the turbulence of his new role. With each line, Lucius felt the weight of expectation and responsibility grow heavier. The pull of duty haunted him. He was not only a senator now, but a steward of his family's legacy, balancing the needs of Rome with the hearts of those he cherished. Returning to the Senate, Lucius felt the weight of expectation settle heavily upon his shoulders. The air inside the chamber crackled with tension as senators argued vehemently over the proposed reforms. Lucius took a deep breath, the faint scent of polished wood and ink surrounding him. As he rose to speak, he recalled the teachings of the great orators whose words had once ignited the passions of the people. With confidence, he began to weave his argument, invoking the ideals of justice and the prosperity of Rome. His voice rose above the din, striking chords of reason among the skeptics. Lucius painted a vision of a balanced grain distribution that could elevate the plebeians and stabilize the empire. Senators shifted in their seats, some intrigued, others resistant. Yet Lucius pressed on, knowing he had to win their trust, not just for this debate, but for the tumultuous days ahead. Lucius stepped into the Temple of Vesta, greeted by the soft flicker of the sacred flames, tended to by the Vestal virgins. The air was thick with incense, a calming contrast to the turbulent discussions swirling through the Senate. As he observed the priestesses performing their rituals, he felt an undeniable sense of reverence and introspection. Here, amidst the gentle rhythm of their duties, he pondered the weight of his decisions as a senator. Would the gods approve of his political maneuvers? The sacredness of the temple reminded him of the moral compass guiding Rome. As he engaged in conversation with a senior Vestal, their discourse danced around the interplay of spirituality and governance, illuminating the profound influence of the divine on earthly matters. Lucius left the temple inspired, reminded that true leadership required not only political acumen, but also a deep connection to the values and traditions that defined their civilization. With renewed vigor, he headed back to the Senate, ready to face the unfolding challenges. As the sun rose higher, casting golden light across the bustling forum, Lucius found a quiet corner to savor his midday meal. The air was thick with the aromas of grilled meats and fragrant spices, mingling with the chatter of merchants hawking their goods. He settled at a rough wooden table, surrounded by friends who shared not only their food but also their dreams and disappointments. Over platters of olives and bread dipped in rich honey, Lucius engaged in light-hearted banter, momentarily escaping the weight of Senate debates. They discussed the fleeting joys of love and the relentless march of ambition, laughter punctuating their conversations. But beneath the levity lay an undercurrent of anxiety. Each man was acutely aware of the simmering unrest beyond the Senate's walls. As laughter turned to reflective silence, Lucius felt the duality of his existence, an intimate moment shared amidst the looming shadows of their responsibilities. As the sun climbed higher in the sky, the sounds of unrest began to ripple through the forum like a whispering breeze that turned into a tempest. Rumors of a potential uprising reached Lucius's ears, igniting a sense of urgency within him. Senators gathered in clusters, their faces etched with concern, as the marketplace buzzed with fervor and discontent. The plebeians, growing weary of their struggles, were no longer quiet. Lucius felt the weight of their expectations pressing against him like a heavy mantle. He could almost hear their chants in the distance, a chorus of voices calling for change and recognition. Stepping back into the Senate, Lucius knew the gravity of the situation had escalated. Discussions shifted from political theory to immediate actions. With each word exchanged among his peers, the air thickened with tension. Lucius glanced at his fellow senators, realizing that their decisions today would echo through the halls of history, shaping not just their lives, but the very fabric of Rome itself. As Lucius strolled through the dimly lit alleyways leading away from the Senate, a shadowy figure emerged from the twilight. The air felt thick with foreboding as the man gestured for Lucius to come closer, his cloak swirling around him like smoke. "Senator Metellus," he whispered, glancing over his shoulder, "there are plans afoot that could shake the foundations of your career." Lucius's heart raced, curiosity mingling with apprehension. The informant spoke of whispers echoing through the corridors of power, conspiracies that involved both allies and foes, all poised to dismantle his ambitions. Each revelation deepened the web of intrigue, leaving Lucius to question who he could truly trust. He understood then that the game of politics was not merely about legislation, but survival. As their conversation concluded, Lucius's mind raced, the weight of impending danger settling heavily upon him, shaping his next steps in the tumultuous landscape of Roman governance. As the sun climbed higher, casting a warm glow over the Senate, a sudden clamor echoed through the marble halls. Lucius stepped onto the Senate steps, drawn by the rising tide of voices outside. A crowd of plebeians had gathered, faces flushed with anger and desperation. Their grievances rang clear: food shortages, rising taxes, and a government that seemed deaf to their plight. With the weight of responsibility heavy upon him, Lucius approached the throng, his heart racing. "Romans, hear me," he called out, lifting his hands to command their attention. A hush fell over the crowd, eyes fixed on him with a mix of hope and skepticism. He spoke with earnestness, acknowledging their suffering while asserting that unity and patience were vital in these trying times. As he wove their concerns into his words, the murmurs shifted from hostility to understanding. In that moment, Lucius felt the fragile bond between the Senate and the people, realizing the true essence of his duty lay not just in governance, but in genuine connection. As Lucius navigated the bustling streets of Rome, the vibrant sounds of life enveloped him. The clatter of wagons, merchants haggling over prices, and children's laughter echoed in the air. Aromas of spices, baked bread, and flowers mingled, creating a sensory tapestry that reminded him of the city's pulse. He paused at the corner of a bustling market, watching vendors display their goods, from gleaming silver jewelry to woven textiles. Each faces told a story, reflecting the hopes and struggles of a populace intricately tied to the Senate's decisions. Lucius felt a profound connection to the common people, their fervor igniting a sense of purpose within him. He absorbed their joys and fears, reflecting on his role as a senator. More than just a political figure, he was a voice among them. This moment, with everyone intertwined in the fabric of Roman life, deepened his resolve to serve, recognizing that true governance stemmed from understanding the heart of the city. In the aftermath of the crowd's unrest, Lucius found himself at a crossroads. The sun hung low in the sky, casting long shadows over the Senate. Determined to seek common ground, he ventured to meet with his political rivals, men whose ambition often clashed with his own. Their initial hostility was palpable, but as they spoke, Lucius recognized the fragility of the current political climate. Their mutual interests lay buried beneath the weight of pride. Choosing his words carefully, he proposed a series of compromises that could benefit both their factions. His skill in diplomacy slowly began to melt the ice, opening doors where discord had previously thrived. Lucius felt the pulse of the city in those moments, realizing that cooperation was essential to steer Rome through the impending tempest. As discussions grew more productive, he couldn't help but ponder the delicate balance of power, ambition, and the unity needed for the greater good. As the sun dipped lower in the sky, casting long shadows across the Senate chamber, Lucius returned to the assembly, the weight of the day heavy on his shoulders. The atmosphere crackled with tension, the senators muttering amongst themselves, eyes darting nervously. News of the plebeian unrest stirred unease, an urgent reminder of the fraying fabric of societal harmony. Lucius watched as his colleagues argued vehemently, their voices rising over one another in a cacophony of fear and ambition. Taking a deep breath, he stepped forward, the murmurs quieting as his presence commanded attention. With clarity, he urged unity, emphasizing the importance of addressing the grievances before them. Diplomacy was pivotal. He reminded them of their duty to the people. As Lucius spoke, his resolve grew stronger, fueled by a vision of a Rome where leaders served not just their ambitions, but the very citizens who placed them in power. The stakes had never been higher. The Senate hall buzzed with anticipation as the heavy doors swung open, revealing the famed General Flavius, his armor glinting under the flickering torches. As he strode in, the senators rose in respect, the weight of his military accolades evident in the hushed whispers that filled the chamber. Lucius felt a swell of admiration mixed with apprehension. The general's presence held the power to sway their discussions. Flavius recounted tales of recent victories in the provinces, his vivid descriptions painting a picture of valor and sacrifice, evoking a palpable sense of pride among the senators. Yet, behind that pride lingered an unsettling tension. Each victory exacted a toll on the legions of Rome. As Lucius listened intently, he contemplated the balance between their martial successes and the simmering unrest back home. The delicacy of the empire's stability weighed heavily on his shoulders, and he knew he must navigate the union of military and politics with deftness to forge a path toward peace. Lucius paced alone in the dimly lit corridors of his villa, the weight of the day pressing heavily on his shoulders. The laughter and revelry outside felt like a distant world, one he struggled to belong to. He recalled the heated discussions in the Senate, the unyielding pressures that rose like tides, threatening to drown his sense of self. Outside, children played, and couples shared affectionate whispers, worlds away from his burdensome responsibilities. As he sat down to write to his wife, his heart ached for the warmth of familial comfort. The letters from his estate had voiced concerns, not just about governance, but of his growing absence. With each stroke of the stylus, he sought to bridge the gap between duty and love, acknowledging that in the relentless pursuit of ambition, he risked losing the very essence of what he fought for. Tonight, with resolve igniting within, he vowed to find balance, for both Rome and his family needed him whole. As dusk settled over Rome, the forum transformed into a mosaic of flickering torches and lively chatter. The sounds of street performers filled the air. Melodies mingled with the festive laughter of revelers and the harsh calls of merchants closing their stalls. Lucius strolled through the vibrant scene, acutely aware of the vibrant life swirling around him. Yet, amid the ceaseless motion, he felt an unsettling emptiness within. His thoughts drifted to the day's events, the weight of his responsibilities pressing down heavily upon him. Each decision reverberated through the lives of the citizens he served, a truth that both exhilarated and terrified him. The fleeting pleasures of the evening felt almost like a cruel distraction from the gravity of his role as a senator. In this moment of vulnerability, Lucius pondered whether true connection could ever be found among the laughter, or if solitude was his only companion in the tumultuous dance of politics. Amid the evening's glow, Lucius wandered through the bustling forum, reflections of the day swirling in his mind. Suddenly, he spotted Cornelia, a fierce political rival, engaged in a heated discussion with her followers. Drawing closer, he felt an unexpected pull towards her, igniting memories of shared debates and whispered confidences. The tension in their rivalry melted into an undercurrent of mutual respect. "Lucius," she said, her tone softening, "we may stand on opposing sides, but our goals are not so different." Their eyes locked, and in that moment, the weight of political ambition lightened, revealing the humanity beneath rival facades. Here was a woman driven by passion, a mirror reflecting his own desires. As laughter erupted from a nearby group, the bittersweet realization settled in. Alliances could form in the most unlikely places, challenging Lucius to rethink his perceptions of loyalty and competition. Would friendship prevail over rivalry? As the Senate session continued, the air crackled with tension, and Lucius found himself navigating the treacherous waters of intrigue. In a dimly lit corner of the hall, he caught whispers of conspiracies that threatened to unravel both his career and the stability of Rome. A shadowy figure had approached him earlier, spinning tales of betrayal among the senators, a faction intent on undermining their collective credibility. Lucius's mind raced as he pieced together the fragments of information. The stakes were higher than ever, with both political survival and the safety of the city hanging in the balance. He considered the implications of these revelations, weighing the risks of action against the potential fallout of inaction. Would revealing the conspirators expose him to retaliation, or could he rally support to counter these threats? Uncertainty loomed, forcing him to choose between silence and truth. In the shadows of power, Lucius sensed that a defining moment was at hand. Lucius sat alone in his dimly lit villa, the soft glow of the oil lamp flickering against the cool stone walls. The weight of his responsibilities pressed heavily upon him as he pondered the true essence of leadership. His mind wandered through the memories of the day, the fervent debates in the Senate, the unrest simmering among the plebeians, and the whispered plots that threatened both the city and his career. He thought of the ideals he once cherished, the noble vision of serving Rome with integrity, yet reality often painted a grimmer picture. Was ambition worth the sacrifices required? In that quiet moment, he felt a profound connection to the very people he aimed to serve, vulnerable, yearning for change, yet often overlooked. As dawn's first light crept through the window, Lucius resolved to weave together the threads of idealism and realism, determined to embody the greatness that Rome demanded from its leaders, no matter the cost. With the lavish dinner winding down, the opulence of the banquet hall surrounded Lucius Metellus, draped in richly colored fabrics and illuminated by flickering torches. Laughter and clinking goblets filled the air, each toast echoing the ambitions and rivalries embedded within the Republican elite. As stories of valor and triumph flowed, Lucius observed the nuances of power dynamics, how fleeting alliances were polished over wine, and how glances masked deeper intentions. Conversations danced around veiled threats, each senator weaving his narrative while gauging the other's reactions. Lucius's heart raced as he felt the weight of his own aspirations consolidate within him. He was acutely aware of the burgeoning tension beneath the surface, recognizing that amidst this revelry lay the seeds of future conflict. Reflecting on his own path forward, he steeled himself for the battles yet to come, determined to navigate the labyrinth of ambition that defined the life of a senator in Rome. Lucius sat alone in the quiet of his villa, the weight of the day pressing heavily upon his thoughts. The flickering flames of the oil lamps cast dancing shadows on the walls, echoing the duality of his experiences, triumphs celebrated alongside burdens carried in silent anguish. Outside, the distant sounds of revelry from the forum reminded him of the joy that lay beyond these walls. Yet here, in solitude, he grappled with the moral intricacies of leadership and sacrifice. As he gazed out towards the star-studded sky, he pondered the conflicts within him, the struggle between personal ambition and public duty, With each passing moment, clarity began to form amidst the chaos. Lucius understood that to lead was to embrace vulnerability, to accept the burdens that came with power. Resolute, he knew that tomorrow would bring new challenges, but he would face them not just as a senator, but as a man willing to uphold the values of Rome. As the first light of dawn pierced through the heavy curtains of his villa, Lucius Metellus stirred from restless slumber. The soft glow illuminated the room, revealing the remnants of his sleepless night, crumpled scrolls laden with the weight of conspiracies, hopes, and decisions. Outside, the city began to awaken. The distant sounds of merchants preparing their stalls and the morning chatter of citizens filled the air with a sense of purpose. Today felt different. A palpable sense of urgency hung over Rome, as if the very gods had woven a tapestry of fate that would decide the city's future. Steeling himself, Lucius rose, determined to confront the challenges awaiting him. He reflected on his responsibilities and the precarious balance of duty and ambition that defined his role as a senator. With renewed resolve, he dressed, his mind racing with strategies, as he prepared to step into the arena of political turmoil once again, ready to shape the destiny of his beloved city. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a warm golden glow over the city, Lucius Metellus took a moment to reflect on the tumultuous day. He wandered through the quiet streets of Rome, the laughter and chatter of the forum now mere echoes in his mind. Each confrontation, every debate, and the whispers of conspiracy replayed like a vivid tapestry of ambition, fear, and camaraderie. He thought of the crowd's fervent cries and the way his words had struck a chord, bringing a sense of importance to his role as a senator. Though the challenges ahead loomed large, a sense of purpose anchored him. Lucius realized that leadership was not merely about wielding power. It required empathy, understanding, and the courage to act for the greater good. Tonight, he resolved to rise with the dawn, prepared to tackle whatever awaited him, embodying the true spirit of ancient Rome, an eternal dance of promise and peril.